Good morning, Source Gaming. It is I, KawlunDram, and I am joined by NantenJex.
Whoop!
And
hello.
And the other two probably fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't get what's going on. They looked like they were signing in to join us, and then they disappeared.
So
now neither of them are answering.
I'm gonna remove my little icons of them for now.
For now,
I have a. It wouldn't be a good morning Source Gaming stream if I didn't have some sort of breakfast eating ASMR, which is not actually the case, but I just have a big bowl of Cheerios next to me.
Nice.
Fun thing about Cheerios. Oh wait, Phantom just showed up.
Yeah, my bad.
Jesus Christ.
Were you asleep?
Huh?
Were you asleep? What took you
I
so
was
long?
awake, and then I suddenly woke back up.
What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I woke up at 7, and then out of nowhere, I was like, "What?"
Should have set an alarm.
I did.
Tut.
For 7.
Should have set
Should
two
have set
alarms.
Yeah. Should have set a better alarm.
So anyway, the thing about Cheerios, is that the last time I had a bowl of Cheerios, I was sick, and I don't know if you guys have ever tried to eat anything when you're sick. It radically changes the taste of it.
Yeah.
So the last time I had Cheerios, they tasted like they were burnt.
Oh, lovely.
And it was the grossest thing ever. It was terrible. Such a horrible experience.
I get the same feeling when I'm hungover. It's like being sick.
That's terrible.
And then you're hungry, so you eat something that you usually really enjoy, and then just feel terrible during and afterwards.
I don't know if this is like public disclosing information, but whatever. At Magfest, I got really goofed up. And Matt was with me, and he didn't get goofed up because he's a small little Christian boy. And oh, I know, Mormon boy. I'm sorry. And I think like we were out to dinner at like a seafood restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just kind of sitting there looking at me weird, and I'm just kind of like swaying back and forth in my chair, like eyes half open, and I was like, Matt, I'm pretty fucked up right now. And he just starts laughing hysterically. So we, after we paid for our meal, we like ran to Starbucks and got a lot of coffee. And
I had a slightly similar experience, but I wasn't the only one. I was on holiday with a few friends, and one of them wanted to go get curry to eat.
oh, that's
The rest of us weren't that hungry, but we figured we'd just go along and like maybe buy a side or something each.
yeah.
So we go into this curry place, and we're the only people there. And we sit down, and the guy comes over with the water and all this stuff and all this, and we realize how awkward everything is because there's four of us. Only one of us actually wants to eat food.
Have you ever seen
We're
that?
the only people.
Have you ever seen that Vice documentary where like the three Vice journalists like went to North Korea and
I haven't seen it.
It's something. And they like they're in this like big fancy hotel, and every morning they go down to this big dining hall to eat breakfast, and the waiters and waitresses like serve food to all of the tables despite the fact that there's only one table with people at it. Either to give the illusion that like, look how much food we have, we're a first world country, or like just in case. I don't know. It's really weird. It's
Make
really,
it look
really
like
strange. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have loads of customers. They're just all at the toilet right now.
Yeah.
You can see their food's on the table.
They're doing their taxes, you know.
Yeah.
Deal with it. Oh,
That's where you go to do your taxes. The North Korean restaurant.
There's like another. I remember there was a video on the trending page years ago where some guy was at a North Korean hotel, and like he was like, "Hey, there's like 16 floors, but like there's not that many people here, and like the elevator buttons are like it was some weird thing where like if you went on the elevator, like
Mm-hmm.
the buttons above the 8th floor didn't work, but they were there." And so he climbed up the stairs to the 16th floor, and it turns out that like half of the just half of the like those everything from like 9 and up, like the lights were shut off and like nothing was actually there.
So it just wasn't actually being used.
They were just trying to like show like, oh yeah, it's a 16 floor hotel, you know.
I suppose they don't get enough people coming to justify having 16 floors.
Yeah, North Korea is really fascinating, everyone. Like, it's I know this isn't video games, but, like, watch a couple documentaries. That stuff is amazing.
So I guess we'll go to video games.
Yeah, we'll go
finally.
to video games. Phantom, what have you played in the last week or two?
Oh, no. Last thing I played in the last week or two. Well, of course, the Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. I was playing that for the review.
Yeah.
I know the review's already out, but God, it's a short game, but I love it. I love it so.
Yeah.
It's really wholesome. The reason why I wanted to play it in the first place is because it reminded me of a story aspect of Darling in the Franxx, that anime. And I was like, okay, I want to see how this is gonna do it, and it does it so well. And that's the first story game in a while that I actually like really just sat down and played through, just straight through, and enjoyed. It's kind of what I needed.
I guess it does it better than Darling in the Franxx then.
I still like Darling in the Franxx, but yeah. It doesn't matter.
It
What
was a
else?
good review. I got positive feedback from NAS America. You'll be happy to
That's
know.
Ooh,
So,
that's great.
they
I
gave us
looked
our
up.
bonus. Don't joke about that. Don't joke it. People might take it seriously. Oh no.
What?
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they liked it because what was it to go on a little tangent if it's okay. Freaking, I love it. I love NAS America because they're part of the reasons why I got like I went into like wanting to do art.
Okay. Yeah, that's very nice style.
Pretty
That's
freaking
definitely
cool.
true.
Oh yeah. God, that art style. The freaking. I wish I could show you guys all of the story in the review because there's so many points that make you want to cry. But it's like because the art is so like the emotions that they show with the character with the monster.
Hmm.
It's so the art is just really good. What other games? Other than Smash, I haven't been playing Persona 4 yet. I was cleaning up my desk so that or my area so that well when I do get to playing PS2 games and trying to review them or whatever, that I actually like have everything set up where I'm not or I don't have to constantly change wires.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a massive hassle.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I guess the last other game that I've been playing was what was it? The World Ends with You on DSi.
No, on the DSi.
Yeah. I didn't want to buy a $50 game, so I just bought the original for
To be fair,
I
it's down to like 20 something now. I've seen it in shops for ridiculously cheap, and I
Yeah.
bought it at full
okay.
price. But to be fair,
Oh yeah,
I like that series, and I want it to get a sequel, so I'm fine supporting it.
I can't, I hope a sequel is happening in some way.
Yeah, well,
Probably not.
mate, we'll see how
Probably.
Nomura can work the system.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's
spoilers.
it's the thing that everyone wants, but they keep
Well, I
doing
mean,
these really weird like let's not do it justice. It's really bizarre.
I mean,
so
it feels like they should have been released on the Wii U instead of the
Oh,
Switch.
absolutely.
It's weird. Like you
Or a
get used
3DS
to,
remake.
or a
There's
3DS remake. Yeah, if you
yeah.
just, I got used to it on the Switch pretty quickly, but like, it's not fun to play on the TV on the Switch. You have to do it in handheld mode. It's
uh,
just like
that's
I just found using the Joy Cons to be absolute garbage in that game, which is a shame.
Well,
'Cause
isn't
you
it?
can't do the multiplayer unless you use the Joy Cons.
Well, that's the funny thing. They kind of almost want you to rely on having a second person to do all of the uh to do the two person stuff. In which I mean that really screws over anyone who just wants to play the game alone. We're talking
Yeah.
about The World Ends with You Final Remix 2.5 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
2.5 HD
But
remix.
yeah, after it's said and done, like the DS original is still the better version. Like out of all of them.
I don't know.
I
I'd
don't
have to go back and try the DS one. I think the visuals on the Switch one and the music on the
Switch
Switch one, all the
because
Oh, of
remixes are
course,
really,
but
really
like
I
good.
want to see that art in HD.
the controls though are just
Yeah, the controls are a bit bad, but I think that the changes they made, because they didn't have the bottom both screens, do work. It's just that the controls is just the main thing that lets that down. Like
How
I think
much?
it's a lot easier, and the way they've rejigged the boss fights is a lot better from what I remember.
I gotta
How much?
say, yeah, go on.
How much content did Final Remix add? Was it just that extra day, or
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
it's not much, admittedly.
yeah, it really isn't much.
I
It's
think it's like 3 to 5 hours. It's really nothing.
yeah, if it's even that, it isn't. It's just comes at the end of the game, and even then, to unlock it, yeah, there are some bonus matches because you have to do these fights in order to unlock the final day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's
Okay.
it's very much like a setup for a sequel that we may never get.
I think we'll get it with the freaking what was it with like the Dream Job Distance stuff that
I just think
Yeah,
Nomura's
blows up the feud, and then
Yeah, but Kingdom
Nomura's
Hearts is
setting us up
different.
for-
It makes money.
yeah,
that's-
but
People
yeah,
know
but if
Kingdom Hearts.
I think the
but like
world
if
ends
we
with you will live on in Kingdom Hearts, but it won't live on any other way. I feel like.
think that'll definitely happen. But with the when you like when you're taking like a country when you're taking a
Zeus Land?
game that doesn't get a lot of love and putting it in a game that does get a lot of love, you're exposing those people. So I think it's possible that also depending on how well final
I don't think it
people
sold very well.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
didn't.
problem.
it didn't. Oh, never mind.
No,
Then.
it
Yeah.
didn't, no. Like, I think the only way they're going to do it is they need to make like gameplay that's really fun to play on the Switch.
Or not just put it on one console. But sadly, it's a Nintendo
I mean, it really sucks because it's like
exclusive.
they quite literally had like 10 years to put it on like 2 other consoles that would have been way better for it. They could put it
But
on the
then how
Wii
can you
U,
use the
where it probably
pros-
wouldn't have sold much better either. But at least it would have played better. They could, or at least they could have put the DS version on the Virtual Console.
Yeah.
And they could have made a shiny special remake on the 3DS at
They-
any
but they
point
already-
up until half a year ago. But yeah,
But they already
Yeah.
made a shiny special remake for the iPhone.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
which is
that's
what
why.
the Switch
That's
version's
probably
based
why the
on.
Switch version exists. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they did the iPhone version when Square was going through their mobile phase.
Speaking of game, let's see. I'm reading chat. Speaking of games that we think will be remade, I feel that Mario and Luigi Partners in Time will get a remake, and it will be on the 3DS.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised,
Fellas,
considering the other two have.
I hate to break it to you, but oh my god, the 3DS is fucking dead.
What makes you think that?
It's still pushing on. We can talk about that when we get to that. Topic.
I don't want to
Still
go into it too much, but there was an article that came out
I know
recently that Mario and Luigi
guess if
Bowser's
you wanna say-
Inside Story 3DS is the worst selling Mario game since Virtual Boy.
In Japan.
In Japan, but I mean I can't imagine US sales are
No.
tremendously
doesn't-
the opposite.
Doesn't help that Bowser's Inside Story is the worst Mario and Luigi game.
Oh,
but-
shut up. I'm going to beat you up. It probably also doesn't help that it's a... I mean, kind of going back on what I was saying, though, with DS to 3DS remakes, you do kind of run into that problem of, well, you just buy the DS version for $20 used, and
Yeah.
it's the same game.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is it's clearly just a stopgap game. While
absolutely.
Alpha Dream get used to working with HD visuals, because they've never worked on a game in HD. They've only ever worked on handheld titles.
Yeah.
So it's definitely jumping from 3DS to Switch. They're going to have to really go over everything that they know and train all their employees and hire new staff and all that, so that the next mainline Mario and Luigi game is,
Good.
really good and fits on the Switch and up to standard. But they need money until then, so they're just going to have to remake older ones, just reuse all the assets they've got. That might be why they didn't remake the second game, to be honest, because that the third game and Dream Team share a lot of characters and stuff crossover, whereas Partners in Time has the most unique characters in it, and so they'd probably have to remake a few more assets.
Do people consider Partners in Time to be the best one?
No,
No.
to be fair, no. Most people consider it to be the second worst one, but I think I found it more enjoyable than Bowser's Inside Story.
So I keep hearing people call
What?
to remake it on the Switch.
What?
Oh, there we go.
Okay, that's the problem. It's Bowser's Inside Story. No, not Bowser's. The Partners in Time,
Hello?
because it was the first DS one. Like, really utilized the two screens for stuff.
Yeah.
Like with Mario and Luigi on one, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, you could work them on the other. And the battles were very vertical in that game, so it'd be really hard to remake it on the Switch. But yeah, Anyway, onto the games that I'm playing. I'm also playing an NES America game that's making me cry, but for very different reasons.
Oh,
I've been playing a Yomawari The Long Night
ooh, I wanted to get that.
collection. And yeah, I'm not very good. It turns out I do not do horror very well. But
job.
after 3 attempts and over an hour and a half of playing, I've gotten past the first level. So that's a good start.
Are you playing on your TV?
Yes, I have been playing on my TV so far. I played a bit. The first session I played was just on my TV, and then the second and third it was to record footage. So I was playing it on my PC.
Okay.
But like the first session, I literally walked around. I was playing it at like 11 at night. Ran into the first monster of that game. Ran away, tried to hide from it because I knew that was something you did in that game, and it wouldn't leave, so I just turned the game off. And then the second attempt, I got a bit further, but I got a bit lost because I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, and I ended up turning it off and deciding, right, I'm gonna figure out what the fuck's going on. Because the tutorial gives you very basic stuff like how to walk, how to run, how to throw objects and stuff like that, but it doesn't tell you anything else. You kind of have to. It slowly works into it. Like the game technically doesn't tell you can hide from enemies for like at least until about halfway through the first level. So I ended up just Googling everything you could do in order to make my survivability 100%. And then I managed to push through the first level.
So you're a cheater.
I'm not a cheater. I haven't looked up like a guide or anything like that. I've just made sure I knew what I was actually doing. But yeah, I'm doing that game for a review, so I won't go into too details about it. But yeah, it's been a very scary experience.
Switch is like a pretty good lineup of horror games. TBQH. It's got the 2 Outlast games. It's got Layers of Fear. It's got the 2 good action Resident Evils. It's got Observer, which just came out. Deathmark. Yeah. It's getting more Resident Evils. Yeah,
as well.
if you want to get like spooked, like the Nintendo Switch is like really well off for that.
Aren't they making Five Nights at Freddy's for Switch as well?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. See, usually, like Resident Evil games, I'm fine with. Silent Hill games, I'm fine with. And Alone in the Dark, I was okay with. But like, I don't know. I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's because I find the jump scare horror really cheap. But this one's actually like really tense. It's kind of like when I first played Amnesia, although I got used to that one very quickly.
Five Nights at Freddy's is just red light, green light, 1, 2, 3 with jump scares.
Yeah, it is.
But it's exactly what it is. Like it's so nothing, but like apparently the lore is good. So I don't know. like
the lore is the most interesting part of it. Like, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Apparently, the lore is some like Lynchian, like 3-hour-long analysis shit. So I don't know. I guess different strokes for different folks.
Like, it was fun, like learning about it as it came out. So, like now, when you look back at everything and some of the retconning and some of the obvious changes, it's definitely gotten very bizarre in everything. Like the first story is a very simple one about haunted animatronics from a murder.
Yeah.
And then it just got a bit insane with nightmares and the afterlife and zombies and all sorts.
Yeah, it was fun watching MatPat's videos.
It was probably the main game theory videos, actually, like the ones where he goes into explaining the lore of stuff just for games that I can't be bothered to play, like FNAF and Bendy.
It's dumb, and then I realized I spent like 6 hours watching Nightmind videos last night. So I guess, it's up to anyone's thing, really. God, have you guys ever watched Nightmind ever?
Yeah, I have. I've watched Nightmind and Nightmare Expo and.
Have you seen the Explaining Jack Torrance video?
I think so.
Oh, that one's
I went through a
wild.
big. I went through a whole like thing last Halloween of just watching videos like that.
I think like there's like a fine line though between what videos are good and which videos are bad. Like I think like his lasagna cat video is like really dumb and unnecessary because explaining lasagna cat like kind of kills the joke. Like it kind of misses the purpose. But then you have something like the Jack Torrance video where it's like this weird ARG that plays into real life where this guy is setting up he's going through the effort of shooting all of these little old horror clips on like actual old like 8mm and 16mm film, and he's doing it at like abandoned private property places in the middle of Austin, Texas, and like wants people to go find stuff there despite the fact that like that's a really dangerous thing to do. It's really it's really something else, but I love that video. I was watching it again last night because it's so out there. The internet takes things way too far sometimes, and it's kind of beautiful when it does.
Definitely. So other games I've been playing, I guess the only other big one was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Neat.
Which I beat the other day, and then I thought I'd do some post-game stuff last night, but I got a little bit bored because it's just the loading screens kill that game. Like, when you're playing the main game normally, it's fine because you go like, and every world is split into like big open areas, and so when you play it normally, you go through like an hour to 2 hours before you hit a loading screen, which is okay. I can deal with that. But when you're going back and revisiting areas to pick up stuff you missed, it's instead like every few minutes, like you'll warp to an area, do something, and then warp to the next area. And so you're constantly bombarded with loading screens, and the loading screens just take forever in that game because it's loading so much that it just actually like I just got bored of going from level to level looking for stuff and gave up the other day. So that's not a good sign.
No, it's not. I have never played a Kingdom Hearts game, and I've been trying to jump into the series because I like Disney, but I also don't like action RPGs. So it's a very I mean, I'm fine with them, but it's you know what's funny? I was on a Kingdom Hearts stream with some friends, and I was talking about how I really like the Epic Mickey for 3DS. Because it's the only good one because it's a side scroller and it's trying to be Castle of Illusion. And, and he's going through it's Mickey Mouse going through all of these different worlds based on other Disney movies, and I'm like that's brilliant. that's like they should keep doing that. Like they have such a huge backlog of these like amazing worlds. They should just keep making platformers and all that. And like games where Disney characters go to other Disney worlds, and someone was like, you know, you could play Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. And then my friends who love Kingdom Hearts came to my defense and said, you just told them to play Kingdom Hearts. like that's not 1-to-1 with what's asked. But Brian and I, Bryhard and I have had this idea for months where instead of me just starting the series at 1 like a normal person, I instead stream Dream Drop Distance.
Why?
So I jump first into the most confusing nonsense I could possibly jump into.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm trying to figure out whether 3's got more nonsense, because 3 is not a game you can start on. You'll have no fucking clue what's going on.
Well, that's the best part, is that I want to jump in and some crazy shit happens and I'm bewildered. But the big problem is that Dream Drop is also like the worst one.
Oh, it's not the worst one. Dream Drop's not that bad.
Watch your mouth.
What do you mean, watch your mouth? I'm just going by what people have told me.
No, Dream Drop is not the worst one. Like
the worst one.
No. It's 365 over half. Recoded's the worst, and then 365. But 365 is a bit like it's just repetitive. That's why it's bad. Dream Drop Distance plays fine. The only issue with it is how bothered you are about the silly mini games, and also the Disney worlds are a bit shit in Dream Drop Distance. I'm not gonna lie.
Time to bring out Bryhard and Caleb and and
No.
y'all can duke it
Like it
out.
wasn't.
Dream Drop Distance. I mean, Dream Drop Distance isn't as good as the first two or Birth by Sleep,
Yeah.
but it's not like bad. I played it for the first time last November, and I had a lot of fun playing through it. So, like
I
a lot
haven't.
more fun than I had with the other with Recoded and 356 and Chain of Memories.
I prefer. I really like 358 over 2 days. I really like Chain of Memories. Reach Chain of Memories.
Rechain. Yeah, I haven't played Rechain of Memories. I've only played the original Chain of Memories.
I found a copy years ago for PS2, and I was just playing it. It was like $70 though. What was it? The worst.
What?
I haven't played Birth by Sleep yet, but I really like Dream Drop Distance. It's probably my second favorite game of the franchise.
Oh, okay. Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep's a good game. I really liked it. The only issue with Birth by Sleep is because there's 3 protagonists.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you have to keep playing it.
You do this. It's not the same story, and when you go to the worlds, you go to different parts of the world, and you do different parts of the story. But it does feel a bit like you do them all basically in near the same order. So, and you always start from level 1 again, and you always do that. So, and they don't play drastically differently. It's just that one's better at magic, one's better at physical, and the other's more balanced. But like, I think the story in Birth by Sleep is actually really good, and that one has better Disney worlds than Dream Drop Distance.
Okay.
Like, Dream Drop Distance's worlds are just too big for what you actually need to do in that game.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just big open areas for no reason. Although the Fantasia level's pretty nice.
Ooh.
The little time that I had with it on PS3, I found myself mostly just walking back and forth between big areas. I kind of got tired.
I mean, on PS4 for Dream Drop Distance. It's not on the PS3.
No, I'm talking about Birth by Sleep.
Oh, you're talking about Birth by Sleep. Oh, okay.
I haven't gotten a chance to play Dream Drop Distance on what was it, on PS4?
PS4.
I don't own a PS4.
Yeah,
but
I think that highlights the size issue a bit more. I'm sure maybe on 3DS it was a bit better.
Yes.
On PS4 it's more obvious that, and the mini games aren't, because a lot of the mini games are meant to use touchscreen. You have to use the touchpad on the PS4 controller for them, which like took me a while to sort of get used to. Once I got used to it, it was fine. But the first time I was playing through, I had no fucking idea what I was doing because it's just not intuitive.
I mean, on the 3DS, you're probably going like, "Wow, this can be rendered." No wonder why this frame rate's taking a hit. Which is one of the nice things about having a more user-friendly 3DS. I think is the nicer way of saying it. You can just turn on overclocking, and every game runs good. Metal Gear's frame rate is stabilized. It's very nice.
Miracles.
Miracles, exactly. As far as yeah,
I was gonna say, what about you, Kawlun, for games?
I've been playing 3 games specifically. Last week I got a review code for Observer, and they were sending me mixed signals on the website on what I could actually do with it. Because because in the email with the code they said, "Oh, you can do a live stream of it. You just can't have an opinion of the game until February 7th." But then if you go to the front, the actual main page for Observer on that website, it was like you just nothing until February 7th. So I was like, okay. So I played a bit of it. It's really cool. It's got Rutger Hauer in it from Blade Runner, because the whole thing is Blade Runner inspired. And I really need to sit down and play more with it. I'm just, I didn't want to do a traditional review. I kind of want to do something else with it, but whether that's a pre-recorded Let's Play or a stream for the channel, I still got to decide on. Maybe a stream. I also got a stream Geist. But yeah. And then, so that's certainly something. The Then another game came out on that same day, on February 7th. I didn't get a code for it. I bought it myself because I've been really excited to buy this game, and it's called... I have to pull out my Switch for the full title. Away, Journey to the Unexpected.
I don't know what that is.
It's a first-person RPG, dungeon crawler type thing with an art style that looks... absolutely, positively fantastic.
Oh, this game.
Yeah, it just looks beautiful.
Oh, okay.
I'll put
It looked a bit. It looks very level. It looked a bit level 5-ish to me.
Yeah. And don't you worry, it looks just as good in game as it does in the trailers. Like.
Okay, I'm actually alright. To be fair, I think I'd only seen like the animated cutscenes for it. And they just looked very generically anime to me, so I kind of just forgot the game. But gameplay-wise, it actually looks like it animated cutscenes.
The game art style is beautiful. Like it just looks great, and it plays really good too. It like the control feels nice. I think like the only problem I've had so far is I guess to keep that visual parity, the frame rate isn't amazing.
Okay.
Indoors, it's like 30 FPS, which is fine, whatever. At this point, you know, I'll take the L. But once you get into like any... Like the majority of the game is in these like closed environments, so the frame rate being like 30 FPS is nothing. But there are like a few really big open areas, and oh man, that's when it starts getting a little choppier. And you're just like... Woof. But I mean, I guess that's the price of if you want, you know, I guess that's the price if you want the game to be at 1080p, because that's what it's running at. It's really sharp. So, that's nice. And then the third game I played is Keen Dreams, because I'm still weirded out that came out. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
That game.
No.
So let me explain. Commander Keen is a beautiful series made by the lovely folks at id Software. They made it before Wolfenstein 3D and Doom and Quake, and it was just kind of them trying to show the world that you could do platforming on PCs, and it could actually be smooth and good and not choppy and awful.
Okay.
It was sort of like it's basically what they did after they made that Super Mario Brothers 3 demo they tried to show to Nintendo.
Yeah. Commander Keen and Keen Dreams.
Yeah, and then the series consists of a trilogy of games called like Commander Keen and something, because each one is named differently. And then
there's four of them I'm seeing here, though.
Okay, so there's it's really weird. There's 3 games that people usually lump into one because they all share kind of the same title. Then there is 4, 5, and 6, which are all differently titled, differently numbered, sort of unique stories from each other. And then there's Keen Dreams.
Okay.
And the thing about Keen Dreams, the reason why it sticks out, the reason why it's so weird is because it was made in between the original trilogy and the later trilogy. So it has like the art style and mechanics, or at least the look of the later games, but it still plays like the early games. But the thing is that id Software was making all of these games on like somewhat stolen company property, because all the guys at id Software were working for a company called SoftDisk and making these games on their computers while no one was looking, and then they would just return the computers back to SoftDisk when they were done. And SoftDisk caught on to this and said, no, if you guys don't want to get like ousted, you guys have to make a Commander Keen game for us.
Okay.
And thus became Keen Dreams. So it's like the one Commander Keen game that's in like this weird copyright limbo, because it's not owned by Apogee or 3D Realms or id Software. It's wholly owned by Softdisk, which is a company that doesn't exist anymore. So
Right.
it's not weird that Keen Dreams is the Commander Keen game that came to Nintendo Switch, but it is also incredibly goddamn weird that a Commander Keen game came to Switch, and it is Keen Dreams.
Yeah, why did it come to Switch then?
It's
Is there a
it's
reason?
it's by some company who I guess buys the licenses for really bizarre copyright limbo games.
I mean, according to Wikipedia, it's Lone Wolf Technology.
Yep. They have no other releases on the Switch. This game, Keen Dreams, is not being released for like PS4 or Xbox One or Steam. I don't even think Keen Dreams comes with the Commander Keen Complete Pack on Steam, if they even still sell that, which I doubt. Let me hit up the store page. Oh no, they do. That's crazy. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, I can barely find anything about this company.
That's a crazy story.
It's a really weird story, and the game itself is so it's not great. It's the worst Commander Keen game outside of the really really bad Activision made Game Boy game that has nothing to do with anything.
Saw that one, yeah.
What's also really weird is that this game was rushed, so if you try to play it, even though id Software had written and made full music and sound effects for it, Softdisk, to save time and space, cut all of that out. So if you try to play the actual PC version of Keen Dreams, it's all PC speaker stuff, which if you've never played an old DOS game with PC speaker sound effects, it's rough. It's rough, let me tell you, because it's all really high pitched beeps, because it's the computer making the noises, not like actual sound effects. Because fun fact, computers used to have little speakers in them.
Okay.
Just for like BIOS noises and all that. But no, what's weird about this release is that it has sound effects and a score, but it's not the originals. It's not what id Software wrote. It's like these like new bizarre synthesized. It's so weird. And it's like $10.
Yeah, so it's out on Switch now.
Yeah,
And,
it's weird. I kind of hope they do more of it, but they probably won't. I would love to see though. Bethesda should totally bring Commander Keen to new platforms. We're kind of getting that with Rad Rogers coming out next month. Since Rad Rogers is another Apogee Interceptor game that's like supposed to be like Commander Keen but new.
okay.
But it's also rated M, so I don't.
Right. Okay.
So I guess kids aren't buying it. So I don't know. Duke Nukem's in it. It sounds cool.
Fair. I guess we'll have to see. There's a lot of big 90s revival stuff. What's that other one that's not id Software but like Turbo something?
Oh, are you talking about Johnny Turbo's Arcade?
Yeah, that's it. Johnny Turbo's Arcade.
Johnny Turbo's the long forgotten TurboGrafx 16 mascot.
Yeah, that's.
Don't know why he's pushing arcade releases.
I don't know. I don't know why he's going to be in that new Nicalis puzzle game either.
Oh yeah.
He's just suddenly back, and it's going to show up everywhere. It's the next Shovel Knight. It's Johnny Turbo.
It's really
See him in
weird.
every game.
I guess this I did actually play these games recently, so I guess I could still talk about that. But I had some friends over, and they were like, "What's Night Slashers?" And I said, "What isn't Night Slashers?" And which is another it's another game that was released under the Johnny Turbo's Arcade moniker on the Switch, and we played through Night Slashers, and that game is wild. It's like Streets of Rage mixed with Splatterhouse. Actually, Final Fight is more. It's like Final Fight mixed with Splatterhouse. It's really bizarre, but it's really badass.
Yeah, why is Dracula on the cover with a guy with two robot arms? And
you play as some dude, some half cyborg dude, and some a mystical woman, and you all take turns pile driving Dracula and Death himself, and it is
Oh,
amazing.
Castlevania game. Oh,
Yeah, it pretty much
now I
is.
see.
It's a Castlevania game where the Belmonts got sick of everyone's shit and just started pulling out wrestling moves on everyone. It's so amazing.
We misplaced the whip one day, and we're just like, oh well, we're just gonna have to keep
Oh,
going.
just like, what do we do? And then
We do.
they also released Heavy Burger, which is
Okay.
an original game that's like a weird cross hybrid of a bunch of old arcade games. So like you all play as like the Burger Time mascot with guns shooting at each other.
Oh, I remember when
And the
this got
background
announced.
is like you have like the dudes from Bad Dudes running across the screen as like screen hazards. It's wild. it's it's more ambitious than Smash Brothers in how random all of these old video game references can be. I love it. I cannot tell Spazzy to play it. You know what? He really would get a kick out of it. Honestly,
Yeah, he definitely would.
out of both games, out of both Night
Yep.
Slashers and
Yeah, I'm just looking at some screenshots, and it's like, what is going on with this clashing art style and
yeah.
like what it looks like something like fan put together on DeviantArt with a bunch of existing assets.
I was watching Giant Bomb play when it first came out, and they were like completely bewildered. But after the first round, they're like, this is actually pretty fun. It's pretty good.
Oh, jeez.
Uh,
So
from the chat, do you guys Chibi Robo is dead for real now? Don't
What
be
is that
harsh,
sentence?
please.
do we think Chibi Robo is dead for real?
No.
I could see Chibi Robo coming to mobile. It's really hard to tell when we don't know what Skip are doing now, because they haven't released a game since Ziplash,
Yeah.
and they're not quite big enough company to like. I mean, even Ziplash, they had to get Vanpool in to help them because they didn't feel like Skip was a big enough company to be able to make a full retail release. So, I mean, it's been my theory that they're currently working on a 3DS game, or at least they were doing a 3DS platforming game based on like Wario, like an existing Nintendo platforming property, because it'll be an easy sell and a good way for them to get some money.
Yeah.
But alternatively, if they're only making smaller games, I was thinking that maybe they were going to make a mobile game. And Chibi Robo, depending on what they do, could be a good fit for mobile games, because I think when all said and done, he's still like the closest thing Skip has to a mascot.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna drop him. Like he's never gonna be forgotten completely. But I think we're a long way away from having that sequel to Chibi Robo 3 that I know everybody is or Chibi Robo fans want to see.
Or Custom Robo rip in pieces.
Yes. Well, Custom Robo, it turns out, because I was looking into this, it's just the GameCube game that they don't own the rights to anymore.
Oh.
They own the rights. It's the series they still have, because I was curious why, if they don't own the series, why is it in Smash? And so I was researching it, and yeah, it's just very specifically that GameCube game that was released in the US and Japan. A different developer made it, and they just basically own it now.
You know what? You know what GameCube game Nintendo does have the rights for?
What?
Geist.
Yes, they do. Geist on the Switch, please. When?
That name sounds familiar.
I streamed it. You should
Yeah.
go watch me play
Oh.
it. I'll probably finish it sometime soon.
Yes.
Even
Geist
though it's like the worst thing I've ever played.
It's like Nintendo's greatest first-person shooter original series.
It's
Metroid doesn't count.
I'm trying to think the best way of describing Geist. It's like their answer to Half-Life or like Doom 3.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter with a gimmick where you play as a ghost and you can possess stuff, objects around you, or other people that you then take into control. I thought it was really fun, but the first-person shooting sections are very dated. Like the controls are very naff.
The game itself, it runs at a frame rate of 2, and nothing feels good in that game.
I know.
Every button prompt feels terrible. But I will say the multiplayer is a banger. I love the multiplayer.
We held when I was in university, we held a tournament, which was a bunch of random games. You had to play like 10 of the 15 random games we had set up, and then whoever got the most points had to play like a finale game that that would be different from every other game. They wouldn't know what it was, and we picked Geist.
Oh,
Geist was our finale game.
As of March 2016, N-Space has closed down. It doesn't exist anymore, so they can't just like come back and be like, "Hey, make Geist 2, baby."
They should. We got to see if I think the best thing we got for both Geist and Chibi Robo, even if it'll never happen, is that if they run out of Wii U games to remake and they run out of Wii games to remake,
there you go.
I think GameCube's the next option.
I mean, I would actually love to see new installments to all of the bizarrely Nintendo exclusive like first person shooter like franchises that they have. I would love to see.
How many do they have?
They have 3. There's 3. There's technically 3. They have Geist. They have Red Steel.
They don't own Red Steel.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I didn't say owned. I said exclusive.
Oh, okay.
And the Conduit. They should make a Conduit 3.
Conduit is like my most disappointed game ever.
And yet it's still better than everything else I just mentioned.
I did not. I had fun with Geist, and Red Steel 1 at the time I could deal with. I haven't actually played Red Steel 2, but the Conduit I got so bored of so quickly. And like I got that with Wii Speak so that I could play the online.
No.
And I was so let down.
I don't know. I've been sort of revisiting a lot of these old weird first person shooters and all that, and Red Steel 1 is bad.
Don't dare go and play it.
At the time, I thought, wow, this is really wacky. I got the game before I even had the Wii, because I was so like, oh, this is gonna be badass, gamers. But no, it does not hold up at all. It didn't hold up at the time.
I don't think it would. It was one of the games that I got when I first got a Wii, and even back then, like, I played through it because I wanted to play through it, but I could tell it was bad.
Yeah,
I was playing it for the gimmickiness of it.
Red Steel 2 is pretty banging because it's not the same game.
Like, yeah, I know. People have actually like said a lot of good things about Red Steel 2, which is why I saw it for like $5 and so picked it up. But I've just never had the time to pick it up. Like, it's very low down on my priority list.
The Conduit 1 is like, it's a really nice effort, but it's also just like really generic. It's just like, oh, I'm shooting aliens, badass, great, okay. The Conduit 2 is outright the wackiest video game ever made on a Nintendo console, outside of like Devil's Third.
See, I haven't played the Conduit 2 because the first one disappointed me so much. I just refused to buy it.
Do you want to know the ending? I don't think anyone here is going to get upset if I spoil the ending to the Conduit 2.
Go for it.
All right, the final boss is former U.S. President John Adams.
Okay.
Why?
And he's been taken over by the aliens. And at the ending is you beat him. A time vortex comes out, and like cyberpunk George Washington and Abraham Lincoln come out and go, "Conduit man, you gotta come with us."
What the hell?
What?
And the main protagonist is played by John St. John, who's the voice of Duke Nukem. It's amazing. it's absolutely incredible.
They just went balls to the wall with it.
It comes out of nowhere. It's amazing.
Oh.
And yet that's the game that made Sega say we're never gonna make another M-rated game for the Wii ever again.
Yeah, Sega went through a weird phase of doing that. Like, it's fair, Mad World and House
A
of the
lot
Dead
of
Overkill
companies
are
were
really
trying
good.
to, because they were trying to they were really trying to see like, well, the Wii's selling well, like people over the age of 12 have to own it, right? And it turns out yeah, but no one wanted those games.
I remember when Manhunt came out on the Wii.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was the big one that started, I think, that sort of trend.
Red Steel was a launch title. Was it T or M?
I don't think it was M. I mean, if it was, I wouldn't count it as being part of this trend of M-rated games because it was kind of. And
Oh,
it's
it was
a T
T-rated.
anyway.
Yeah, it was a T-rated game. You know what's really rough about Red Steel? I was getting really off topic, but yeah, everything. But like, I was watching Nintendo's 2006 E3 where they were finally showing off like that flurry of launch titles for the Wii, and they announced the Wii name, and they had a demo of Red Steel, and the guy on stage shoots a car, it explodes. The mangled like burnt body of the car falls through the game world and then spawns right back in. And you can hear the audience laugh at how stupid that is. And you can just see on the Ubisoft guy's face, he's like, "Oh, god damn it." Remember that third-person Conduit game for 3DS? What?
No.
Is that now I have to look it up. I know there's like a Lost Planet spin-off.
Yeah, that's not Conduit, that's EX Troopers.
Oh, it was cancelled. Oh, no!
Whatever would we do?
God damn it!
Guess it's time to earn enough money to kickstart this.
When did they show this off? 2010. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Seen is the gameplay demo in GDC 2011.
Yeah, every video game. Fun fact about the 3DS: every video game that wasn't made by Nintendo and didn't have the Resident Evil or Metal Gear moniker on it was just outright canceled for the 3DS. The 3DS is the console where I think its entire library was canceled before like the console came out. Which is why 3DS. That first year was so rough.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we're getting a unique Batman game and a Saints Row and Chocobo Racing and a new Bomberman and Mega Man Legends 3. Oh.
We did get the Batman game in the end.
No, it's not the same one. It's not the same one.
We did get a Batman game.
We got a Batman game, but not the Batman game.
Yeah, I remember Saints Row being cancelled, and another one remembers Mega Man Legends 3. But,
yeah, DJ Hero! Oh my god!
But you get Rayman 3D.
Yeah!
For the millionth 3D. Time.
I love how all of those Ubisoft games are like remakes of games they made for the DS that were like demakes of these already pre-existing games.
I know. Ridge Racer 3DS.
Yeah, we got the 3D remake of a DS demake of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Who the hell?
Yeah, that was the other one.
What the hell was that?
Oh wait, Ridge Racer's not Ubisoft, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah, it was a launch title.
Yeah. Oh man. What was the topic again?
Games we had played.
What were we talking about?
Games we had played, and we got onto God, how the hell did we get on the Conduit?
I don't know now.
Oh, we were talking about Chibi Robo, which then led to Custom Robo, which then led to Geist, which then led to Red Steel, which then led to the
you've
Conduit.
Done, chat. You've sent us down like a rabbit hole of nonsense.
No, it's fine. It'll make up for the fact that we only have like 3 topics to talk about. So we just burnt an hour. So thanks, chat. That's why you're here. That's why we're doing this live. Or else it'd just be 3 really awkward dudes just kind of going...
Well, considering that we've just talked about how the 3DS started off very poorly, let's talk about how the Switch is doing really, really well.
And then we can talk about how the 3DS is doing really poorly.
Really, really poorly. But first, positivity here.
Nintendo Switch, 32 million units worldwide. Wow.
Thank God.
Yes,
Wow.
very good. Very, very good. It's nearly beaten the Nintendo 64. It surpassed the GameCube. It surpassed the Wii U, obviously.
It is only 10 behind the Xbox One. That is wild.
That is wild, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Trying to think how much did the DS and 3DS sell? Because the DS sold really well.
DS was 100. I'm spitballing from memory. I think it's 120 million because
Okay.
the PS2 is like 125
Yeah.
million.
And the Wii is
The Wii is like 100.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was 3DS?
3DS I think is according to everyone's favorite unfounded
VG
sales
charts.
number. Yeah, VG charts. It's 74 million.
74 million.
Which
Okay.
technically makes it the worst selling Nintendo handheld, but I mean, not by much.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Like,
Is
it's
there a-
outsold by the GBA, which is 80 million, but I mean, that's
the
not
81
really... Yeah, it's
point
not really
something
saying
million.
much.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like the DS and the Game Boy are so high up. I'm surprised the PlayStation original sold more than the Wii. I thought the Wii sold really well.
Wait, they don't have the freaking the 3DS sales on their website?
What?
I mean, the 3DS total sales is apparently, I just had it, 74.84 million or something like that
Damn.
right now.
I am upset with Nintendo's current support of the Switch. I hope 2019 goes well for first parties. Dude, have you seen the lineup? It's stacked.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
have like
it was
19
always going to
games
be.
coming out by Nintendo themselves. Like,
Yeah, like they have to take a break every so often. 2017 was a stacked year for them, and then
Yeah.
2018 they let their own sort of stuff dry out so that third parties could have a better chance at
I really don't want to
pushing
like
games. They
break
kind of
out
just
the
pushed
list,
everything
but
back.
yeah.
They pushed out all their big releases for Nintendo came out right at the end of the year. Smash Brothers, Pokemon, Mario Party. Obviously, they had Arms and Mario. Was Arms this year? Or was it last year?
Arms was 2017.
Okay, so then they had like what, Mario Tennis? Then that was their big.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had a really bad
April,
Kirby
September
game. They had a really bad.
Off with you. Starlight isn't the greatest Kirby game, but it's fine Kirby game.
They had a Mario Tennis game, which I guess no one really wanted.
I bought it.
Actually, I got a Mario Tennis game was good. It just lacked a lot of content.
It also didn't sell well, which is what I was getting at.
It's fun with friends though.
I thought it sold.
No.
I don't think it sold expectation like what they wanted it to, but I
Wasn't
think
like-
it sold better than the last Mario
They-
Tennis.
well,
I thought it
well,
sold like
yeah,
one
but
point
like-
but even like the GameCube one, I thought it sold
All right,
better.
let's simmer down for a second. Comparing anything to Mario Tennis Ultra Smash
Yeah,
on the
well,
Wii
that's
U
why I
is
went back another
lowest
step.
is the lowest bar you could possibly go for anything. That'd be like comparing the sales of whatever new Animal Crossing comes out to like Amiibo Festival. It's like it's just not worth it.
No, but like I mean, even looking at VG charts again, everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Mario Tennis Aces is the best-selling Mario Tennis game.
1-2 Switch sold more than Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah.
That 1-2 Switches was a launch title, and it's been
Yeah,
out
but
for
it's
a-
1-2
It was
Switch.
out for a whole year before. It was still a
1-2
launch title.
1-2
It
Switch
was
still has
still a
more
launch
content, though.
title. Like,
It also doesn't matter because Mario Party outsold it, and it's like the best-selling. It's like the third best-selling Mario Party game.
yeah, but people care more about Mario Party than they do Mario Tennis.
Oh snap!
And
I
or
just,
Kirby, I guess. God damn.
I just realized that Xenoblade isn't on the list anymore for their top selling title.
That's not surprising.
That kind of sucks though.
No, it's not.
It's
No.
not. No, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 still sold more than they were expecting it to.
No,
sell.
but I'm saying it kind of sucks because I wish it sold more. That's what
Oh, well,
I mean.
it was
I don't
always
mean
going to
to
get
get
pushed out there once more Mario games came out.
It's a niche action RPG. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For what it was, it did perfectly fine. It did better. It's the best-selling Xenoblade Chronicles game. It made over 1 million.
yeah.
So we're certainly going to get another one. And hopefully it just gets, the sales go up and up until it's because it kind of is their main RPG series. If you ignore the Mario RPG series,
Pokemon.
Yeah.
All right, a more traditional RPG series then I guess, because Pokemon's like a monster catching game, like like what Earthbound was before, or what Golden Sun was before. Now it's Xenoblade.
Pokemon is a turn-based RPG, and I won't let
Oh
Yeah,
you
my
but it's like a
God,
monster
shut up. I'm gonna
catching.
beat you up.
Stop. You know what I mean? It's their new Earthbound,
Yeah.
their new Golden Sun.
But delays could upset the Switch. Metroid Prime, and I heard Metroid Prime 4, and I heard Fire Emblem Three Houses could be delayed. All right, fun
No,
fact:
what,
a game with no set release date can't be delayed.
Yeah,
That's just called.
like where this is some annoying thing in the Fire Emblem community that everyone's saying Three Houses has been delayed. They never
No.
gave any release date for it.
Yes, they did.
Not
they
really.
When they announced Fire Emblem, when they had Fire Emblem Direct, they said Fire Emblem Switch is coming out in 2018.
Yeah, and then they made it 2019, and now the voice acting's done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what I'm saying is that it's still technically delayed because they told us one day and then they gave us another.
Yeah, but
That's
no
still
set.
technically a
If there's
delay.
no set date, I can't really call it a delay.
Yeah,
like,
they literally said we're working on it now. Expect to hear
year
more
is
in
just a vague
2018.
promise.
Yeah. And then, like, everyone said, okay, so it's coming out in 2018. Then this is the first time we saw it in 2018. They're like, yeah, no, actually, it's 2019 now, and
So-
that's it. That's the only thing that's been said about it.
Yeah.
But everyone's sitting here going, oh, Three Houses might be delayed. Three Houses could be getting delayed again. And it's like,
Well, it was already
no,
delayed, but
there's
I don't
nothing
think
about
it's
it
delayed
being.
anymore.
It's going to be coming out in like probably July of this year.
I thought it was
Yeah.
spring.
Like we have.
Oh,
yeah,
they never said. Did they ever give a season?
They said spring
They said
2019, I believe.
then
Yeah, they
May.
said spring 2019 recently, and the Fire Emblem Expo is in May, and I reckon it's going to be. We'll get a release date for it in the next Direct, and then there'll probably be a
Don't
demo
say
of
that
it.
word. Oh no!
The next direct is
You said direct. Oh shit!
I jinxed it.
Reset the clock.
so will we consider the Yoshi delay a delay then?
Yes, you
point
can
is-
totally. Maybe.
Why?
No.
Yeah. Point is,
But no, I'm bringing that up because if you're not gonna call the Fire Emblem delay a
No,
delay,
no.
you're gonna
I
call-
know. I wouldn't call Yoshi a delay either because they didn't say anything about it.
They just said 2018 at E3 or whatever.
Yeah.
For what?
And
Wait,
then
for
they were
what?
silent
For
about it.
Yoshi, and then they
Yeah.
just
Yoshi, yeah.
Yeah, and then they
didn't
were
say
silent about it. But with Fire Emblem, it was I'm pretty sure they said fall 2018.
No, they
No,
just
they
said
didn't. No,
2018.
no.
Or just
I know,
2018.
it-
I remember fall.
no,
It
Gra-
didn't
no,
even have a
Gra-
title. It didn't
Yeah,
even
no,
have
and
gameplay.
they
It just
put
said
it in the-
Fire
they-
Emblem 2018.
Yeah, they put
on a
it.
white
Someone's put it in.
backdrop.
Gravity the Ghost has put it in the chat. They said planned for a 2018 release.
Plan for 20? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's
it was
fair.
they had
That's fair.
planned for it to be 2018, but then when they actually showed it off, they were like, no, it's 2019 instead.
I'll hold that out.
Yeah. So and now it's the new thing says spring 2019. So
Yeah.
that's still the same as what last year they just said 2019. Now they spring 2019. That's not a delay. They're just giving it more of a specific time period.
I don't think it'll get delayed though. I don't see.
I don't think it's gonna get delayed.
Yeah.
Because
It's not going to get delayed. No.
because
Promise.
I mean I don't know if I can find a source for this, but a Mr. AShadowLink, if he's wrong, go yell at him. He said that apparently he heard somewhere that the voice acting for Three Houses is done. Or at least you can tell because there was voice acting in the trailer, which usually means that.
I mean, I wouldn't if it's coming out in spring. It's almost certainly done by now. Most of it's probably done. We
Yeah.
just haven't seen it because Nintendo has a habit of not revealing stuff. Or no, sorry, they have a habit of revealing stuff and then not talking about it until like a few months before it's meant to come out.
Fire Emblem's a series they can just drop the release date out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I'll buy it." Like
I would be
Yeah.
happy if they didn't though, because I want more people to buy it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's gonna have we're gonna get something for it
Yeah.
very soon,
Yeah,
and then they'll give it at least 3 to 4 months for people to sort of build up towards it and buy it, get hyped for it when it comes out, and then hopefully they'll release a demo of it like they did with Awakening, because that was kind of the reason Awakening sold so well.
That'd be great.
And then there you go. Then Three Houses will be out. I don't see Three Houses won't be delayed. It's not like Metroid Prime is a delay, Metroid Prime 4, but that's like we knew nothing about that game.
Would you consider that a delay? Well, never mind.
I would consider that. I mean,
I wouldn't, because when we look at Kingdom Hearts, when they say now in development, we can't consider that a delay either, because they never delayed it. They just said, "Hey, it's in development now." They not. They didn't give
the
us
only
a
reason.
date.
I mean, the reason I'd consider Prime 4 a delay is because they literally came out and said we're starting everything over from scratch.
Yeah.
So it's going to take longer now than planned.
So it's still
Like-
now in development.
Yeah, I mean, it's still now in development, but like they could say, yeah, Kingdom Hearts in development. And as far as we know, it took them 8 years to actually put it together. But Metroid Prime 4, they're literally restarting everything from the beginning.
Mhm.
So that's just that's like a delay. It's not like, oh yeah, we've got 2 years to get this done. There's like, well, we spent a year working on this. Now we're going to start again and spend another 2 years. Whereas Kingdom Hearts, they could easily have been like, well, okay, you have 8 years to make this game.
Wasn't it 6?
Or whatever. I don't know how long it was.
Welcome to the first
doesn't exactly matter to get my point across.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first heated Good Morning Source Gaming. Oh my god. But I think like there's plenty of games coming out this year with a confirmed 2018.
2019.
Current year of our Lord AD. Because we have Daemon X Machina, we have Yoshi, we have Animal Crossing, we have
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
We have
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Pokemon yep.
Gen 8. We have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have that weird Endless Runner game that they announced at the Game Awards. They have Killer Queen Black Sayonara
Wild Hearts or something like that. I really want that game.
Sayonara Wild Hearts. Yeah, but I mean, we've fallen off of. I think he was saying specifically Nintendo made games for 2018.
Yeah,
but his complaint was 2018 didn't have enough of them. They were all ports for the first half and then little stuff for the second half.
I mean, those are Nintendo exclusive published titles. And if you want to get really technical, only like 3 games are actually made in-house by Nintendo.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, published by Nintendo.
So,
Nintendo doesn't make Pokemon.
Yeah.
Published by Nintendo.
And Daemon X Machina
is
game. Marvelous, I think, right?
Also, yeah, but I think Nintendo own some of the rights to Daemon X Machina. Yeah. I think it's a situation like Geist or they're publishing
Mortal Kombat 11's coming out this year. Like
April,
we're good.
Right?
We're good.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11's coming out, and we're getting like 5 Final Fantasy games, 3 Resident Evil games.
Wait, we're getting more Resident Evil games?
We're getting Resident Evil 1, 0,
Remake,
and 4. Yeah.
For Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh snap! I've never played a Resident Evil game, so I have to do that.
Oh my god!
No, because you guys said it earlier, and I completely forgot to ask. Wait, what Resident Evil games are coming to Switch?
No, yeah, those 3 are coming. The new Resident Evil 2 isn't, and 7's still not coming.
It's already up.
Shut up! I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna fucking punch you. I'm gonna do it.
But those 1, 0, and 4 are all coming, and I would be very surprised if we didn't get 5 or 6 at some point. To be honest,
that's actually amazing.
Like 5's actually a good game.
It'd be really weird if we didn't get 5 and 6, but we got both Revelations games. Like,
yeah, no.
It'd be really bizarre.
Well, 6 was actually what did worse, Revelations 2 or 6?
Probably Revelations 2, but also Revelations 2 had the distinct advantage of being $20 and not made on like a multi-million-dollar budget.
That's true, but I wasn't Revelations 2 released like episodically originally.
Yeah.
Because I know that's what turned me off of going at it. Now I have it on PC, but I just can't be asked to play it.
It's so good. It's really good.
Yeah.
But
maybe I should get it for something else.
Resident Evil 6 had like a $100 million budget, and because they needed to sell like 5 million copies, or else the game was an outright failure.
Yeah, and they didn't sell nearly enough copies. Yeah. I remember Resident Evil 6 was the first one I rented because I just didn't want to buy it.
But Revelations 2 was made by like the B team that somehow makes better games than the A team, and
I feel like Capcom's producers are less on the B team to make what they think is right.
But then
and that's why they can make better games.
But then the Revelations team went on to make Resident Evil 7, so I don't know where I'm at right now.
Well, like, yeah, but they made Resident Evil 7 because Capcom's producers just gave up on telling them what to do, and they told them they could make it they could do whatever they wanted with Resident Evil 7 as long as they kept it in budget, which is what they did.
I think we'll hold off till for direct rumors until the end of the stream.
Okay.
Because there's, I mean, because anyone in the know knows that apparently recently there was like a big drop of what could be in the next direct, and
Was there?
as much
Apparently, I'm not in the know.
oh, all right. Let me
Alright,
get
talking
the let me pull up the link then. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. I don't usually. I don't want to get into it too much, and that's namely because direct leaks are like the laziest leaks on the planet, because anyone can just go,
And
yeah,
make
it's
a
next
fake leak.
week. And
Yeah.
eventually, at some point, you're gonna be right.
Yeah, broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, it's everyone's gonna hear my awesome keyboard that's $90 and is made out of springs.
Yeah, I think Wonderful 101 port will happen, and I'm still holding out for Sharp FE port. Just talking to the chat.
We'll get into that in a second. Cause
why you look for stuff, because I still think both of them are like those are ports that are needed on the Switch, especially Sharp FE. That game deserved to do significantly better
absolutely.
than it did.
According to
play it.
according to the producer of the game, he said it's really up to Nintendo. Like it's not up to like Atlas or anything.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just-
no,
it's
I'm
just
sure
Nintendo's
it's up to
call.
Nintendo. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but like, especially now that Persona 5 did really well and
Yeah.
made Atlas RPGs a lot bigger, considering Sharp FE is like a better game, it should hopefully do really well.
A better game than Persona 5.
I think so. I think the story is better in Persona 5, but that's because the story in Sharp FE is very like standard.
Matt will absolutely stab me in the thigh for saying this, but pretty much everyone I have talked to has said that Sharp FE is better than Persona 5.
Really?
Oh yeah, Sharp
That's
FE
crazy.
from like
maybe
gameplay
not
standpoint
majorly
is
better,
amazing.
but it's a much tighter game. It's a like they also share a lot of similarities. They both take place in Shibuya, and so they have very similar environments and a very similar art style. But the gameplay is more SMT Strange Journey than it is Persona.
Yeah, the only real part of it that's Persona is the fact that you've got
is that it just looks
basically
like a Persona game.
Yeah. And all that. The social link aspect of it isn't as strong as the Persona series, because it's
everyone's
very much
friends
like,
already. Like
yeah. Like that's the thing. It's Fire Emblem, and the story is basically, what if we took Shadow Dragon but set it in Japan, and that's the plot. So the story is very basic, but like the music is fantastic, and the gameplay and the battle system is amazing, and it feels so nice to play. Like, it feels a lot nicer to play than Persona's battle system.
And I came away.
Characters
with that
are really
game.
likable as well.
Yeah, I came away with that game being like my favorite Wii U game, and it was like, it was also like one of the last games. It was like the second to last game to be released for that console. That was wholly exclusive to that console.
Yeah, I mean, Sharp FE's ending it's not. I wouldn't call it trash. It's a standard ending.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say if you were expecting something amazing, but to be fair, like Persona 5's is also not that amazing of an ending.
What about Tokyo Mirage? We're saying it's a good video game.
We're saying it's a good game, and everyone
should get a
play
second
it.
chance.
Yeah,
I want to play it.
If you're really hung up on it, get the restoration patch. I don't think Nintendo will scream at you for doing that.
What's the restoration patch?
Yeah.
Uncensoring.
Oh,
yeah.
Putting in them vagina bones.
Listen, all right, hold up, fellas. Let me just say, listen. I don't read Niche Gamer every day. I'm not subscribed to censored gaming, so I didn't. When I got Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I had heard about all the weird changes and stuff, but I never I didn't know exactly what they were.
Mm-hmm.
However, once you play the game, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like you can tell what they changed and what they didn't. because it's done really sloppily.
There's
the
some
first
really
the first boss of the game, not the tutorial boss, but the first real dungeon boss. She has what we call in the industry a big bap, big old chest, and in the animated cutscene they put like some weird After Effects purple fog covering up her cleavage, and only her cleavage. Like, it's just there. It's like a weird sensor bar almost. But in game and in the in-engine cutscenes, it's not there.
Yeah. No, there are some censorship stuff, like the one that everyone obviously got really up about was the apart from the vagina bones, is the fact that there's the one dungeon with the guy who takes like the half naked photos, and they just replaced it with regular models, like instead, like he takes just pictures for magazines.
Oh, isn't that
and like
yeah?
It's like, and I don't know,
They
I
did
just
the same
like
thing for Fatal Frame.
Yeah, but in like in Sharp FE, I think it works better when it's not half naked photos for no reason, like because it's not some. It might be something that's like very common in Japan, but it's certainly not over here.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's a localization change that I think makes a lot more sense, and I prefer it that way than the other way. But there is also the other really lazy localization is one of the outfits that Tsubasa gets.
Oh yeah,
at the end of her social link. Yeah. She has in the original like this sort of slightly open, so you can see her cleavage dress on, and they just kind of like paint it white.
Yeah.
So that it just looks like it's covered up. And in the model, it doesn't look too bad, but in the animated cutscenes, they've literally just turned that part of the skin white. And it didn't remove anything else, so it just stands out awfully.
It's really inconsistent and sloppy.
Yeah.
Like that's I think like ultimately the biggest sin is just like how not good of a job they did with it.
How lazy they were with the censorship.
Do you think if they port it over to Switch, they'll just keep it uncensored? No,
they'll just keep it the way it is. I reckon.
Is Sharp FE and Tokyo Mirage the same game? Yeah, it's called Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE.
Yeah,
that's the full title.
That's the full title.
Can we talk about the idols aspect in that game, like plot-wise? I really thought they criticized the idol industry, but sometimes it feels like they kind of embrace it. It's really weird that the game's story is really weird because you go into it thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be like this like almost Persona game about idols, but then it's almost like this weird almost parody of Persona that also like doesn't really thinks idol culture is kind of fucked up. It's really weird.
Yeah, there's definitely some mixed messaging going on with that game.
That's another game. That's another thing that Matt will totally slap me on and go, It doesn't feel like it's making fun of Persona, even though like the very first one of the first cutscenes is like, yeah, dude, it's a mirage. You don't know what those are? Everyone has one. You haven't heard of these by now? Which makes sense. It is weird how every Persona game starts with like, oh, look at this weird thing that's never happened before in this world where it's happened multiple times.
You got to keep all your performer.
Yeah.
You know it. Everyone's after them performers.
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah,
Tokyo Mirage Sessions is good. It should come to Switch and then everyone can play it. It's super fun.
Honestly, just buy a Wii U for like $100 and play it. Like,
and then,
yeah.
Try and find the game and play it.
And then play GameCube games on it. See, there you go. Now you have a second use for it.
The GameCube emulator and Tokyo Mirage Session machine.
Yeah, no, really. That's all I use it for now.
It is now.
I just use it for playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions and playing the GameCube library on it. And some Wii games.
Yeah, occasionally
a Wii game, you know.
Yeah, so anyway.
3DS is fucking dead.
Oh, don't say that.
I mean,
don't say
8 years
that.
is a good run. It's going out with the Vita, which also took way too long to die.
Yeah, the Vita took Vita took forever. I mean, they only just stopped making Vita cartridges, and there were some dedicated developers out there
Yeah.
of visual novels still making Vita games. Though I've noticed there's a lot of Vita games now coming to Switch, like Yomawari, which is pretty cool.
I think the minute the Switch was announced and they said like the dev kit is gonna cost the same as the Vita dev kit, I think everyone was like, yeah.
Jump ship.
I mean, it's a somewhat portable console that's way more powerful. You can actually plug it into your TV, and it's even if it doesn't sell well, it'll sell decently because it has the whole Nintendo factor.
Okay. Well, anyway, back on the 3DS. I mean, it was going to happen eventually. Like, I did a article on Source Gaming when the Switch came out, or maybe just a little bit towards the end of the year 2017, that looked at how long systems last after the last one came out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and drag it up. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Source Gaming consoles. But the point, what the main thing was, most like home consoles pretty much die straight away.
Yeah.
When they come out, but the handhelds always last. Like the Game Boy Advance was getting games at least up to 2 years after the Nintendo DS was out, and what else was there? Like the Game Boy and Game Boy Color obviously going on. The Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance kind of died out, but at that time the Game Boy Color line had been going on for like a decade almost.
Yeah.
So it was definitely coming towards its end. And then even DS and 3DS, like we got 4 or 5 Pokemon games all out for the Nintendo DS while the 3DS was also out. And like that's just games that Nintendo themselves have released. Like 3DS third parties were still releasing DS games for ages after the 3DS had come out. And if you consider the Switch and this is again, if you consider the Switch a handheld, then it kind of just makes sense. If you consider it a console, then well, the 3DS doesn't have a successor yet, so of course it's still going.
When did the DS come out again?
That's it. I got it now.
2004. Yeah. Oh, that's a normal thing with Pokemon. Like the games, it kind of segues. They don't go directly to the next hardware.
Yeah, I found the article. I posted it. It's called "When Will the 3DS Support Stop?" Where I was comparing it, and like yeah, so like the Super Nintendo released in 1991, but the NES was still getting games up till 1994.
Yep.
64 was released in 1996, but the 64 was still getting games up to the year 2000. Like the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 basically stopped getting games at the same time. Game Boy Advance was released in 2001, but even after the Game Boy Advance was released, the Game Boy original still got Pokemon Crystal and the Oracle games. And their DS to 3DS was Kirby Mass Attack, and then Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon Conquest, and Pokemon Teachers Typing. The classic. And Game Boy Advance to DS, the Game Boy Advance stopped getting games in 2006, which was and the DS launched in 2004. And the Game Boy had quite a lot of big games as well. I think that's probably the most comparable one, especially because if I remember correctly, they were saying the DS was also going to be like a third pillar when it came out and wasn't a Game Boy Advance replacement. And the Game Boy got a Mario Tennis game, a Mario Party game, a Yoshi game, a port of Donkey Kong Country 3, Pokemon Emerald, Fire Emblem, The Sacred Stones, WarioWare Twisted, Mother 3, the first Rhythm Heaven game, a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game. All of these came out on the Game Boy Advance while the DS was also out. So,
I mean,
what's happening now with the 3DS and Switch is basically the same.
It probably helped that you could play GBA games on the DS.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Wish they
But-
put that in for the DSi, but I get it.
Someone
except for the
mentioned
DS.
the Game Boy Color, which is really more of a DSi type upgrade for the Game Boy.
Yeah, it's like a new It's like a new Nintendo 3DS, but more
Yeah.
successful. But like, it should be worth noting that I think the DSi came out after the Game Boy Advance games stopped being made.
Oh, it came out in like 2009.
Was it 2009?
Oh, okay.
I thought it was 2008 for the
No,
DSi.
I think it's no. It actually is 8. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought so.
because it
Which is
came out. It came out like the week after Guitar Hero did, which
Rip.
had one of those. It's one of those lovely things where if you bought a DSi and Guitar Hero, you couldn't play it.
Yeah.
Oh
no-
yeah,
there's no
you need
GBA
to
slot.
Guitar Hero on the DS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
it's like when they released that Soul Calibur for the PSP, and then they released the PSP Go right after, so you couldn't play the new Soul Calibur for PSP on your new PSP.
It's fucking silly.
Oh, terrible.
Wasn't the PSP Go only like digital only or something like
Yep,
that?
it was digital only.
Yep, it
Oh
was
my gosh.
awful,
That's
and it just
such a
crashed
terrible
and
idea.
burnt.
Man, can
But-
you believe it's been almost 7 years since the last good Pokemon? I don't think Heart Gold came out 7 years ago. I thought that was
Hard Gold
So-
came out 9 years ago.
yeah, that's 9 years
Yeah.
ago. I think you're way
March
off.
4th, March 14th, my birthday.
Yeah, you're way
Hey.
off on that one.
That's the best fact
Yeah.
about. Wait, no, hold on. What about Pokemon Black?
You got caught out. Boy.
That's the joke. That's the joke. I was trying to fucking swerve you.
Oh no, I know some people don't like Pokemon Black.
Yeah,
so,
sane people.
No, Pokemon Black and White is good. Pokemon Black and White was good. Pokemon Black and White 2 was boring. I like Black and White.
I like
it's not
Black
as
and
good.
White
It's not
too,
as good as
because
Heart
it has
Gold
good
and Soul
music.
Silver, but
well, I mean, yeah. So Hard Gold and Soul Silver has a lot of content. Which is why I really like it.
no, I just think Heart Gold and Soul Silver's a better game.
Hey guys,
Then
I
Pokemon
thought.
Wow.
But
the same
Pokemon Black has like the best story of any Pokemon
Hell
game.
yeah.
Hey guys, as a dirty Gen 1er, I thought X and Y were fine.
No, you didn't.
No,
No, you didn't.
I was explaining
X and Y
this.
is like the worst Pokemon game.
No, it
Gen
isn't.
1 is the worst
Yes.
Pokemon game.
No,
Gen
no,
1
it
Gen
isn't.
1 is-
Shut
Yes,
up.
it is.
Gen 1 is fine, but X and Y was so boring and so much missed potential.
I was explaining to someone, X and Y is like the Skyward Sword of Pokemon games.
yeah,
Where it's less that they're like really bad, but they're more like, this is the new Pokemon game. Cause like, you know how like the biggest problem with Skyward Sword is that like Skyward Sword is just like, yeah, it's another Ocarina Zelda game. You've played this 5 times over. That's how I felt about X and Y. It was just like, yep, it's a new Pokemon game.
no.
It exists.
That's what I felt about Diamond and Pearl. Is what I felt about with that. But my problem with X and Y is especially coming after Black and White and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. There was just so much nothing to it.
Listen,
Like
nothing
apart-
compares to Heart Gold.
Like yeah, all right, yeah, fair enough. But even after like Black and White, which actually tried to do something with its world and had, you know, so you could only catch in the original Black and White only the new Pokemon to try and emphasize that more a bit better, and it actually was like really interesting. X and Y just doesn't, like, the story is trash and you're not invested in it at all, and most of the Pokemon, you have that really awkward Pokemon Me mini game, which is
I
very
liked it.
good.
I love Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's like fine, but I mean it's not as good as Sun and Moon's one. Even Sun and Moon's one I have problem with.
I also don't
But-
play a lot of Pokemon, so my frame of reference for every single game that has ever existed is.
I mean that might be it, because after playing like even Ruby and Sapphire when it first came out, I really liked but was a bit fatigued on. And Diamond and Pearl I put in the most amount of hours, but it's actually my
Here are the
second
games
least
I've played.
favorite. Pokemon.
I've played Yellow. I've played
Yellow's great.
I've played Crystal.
Crystal's good, yeah.
That's the heart and no. Yeah.
Crystal was the third one for gold and
Yeah.
silver.
All right. Correct.
Yeah.
Just checking.
That's most of what Hard Gold is
I
based
played
off. Based off of.
Ruby. I'm currently playing Leaf Green.
Leaf Green, the remakes of them are alright. They're the first one I didn't buy.
As I said, I'm a dirty Gen 1er, so
Yeah. But like in
Nostalgia.
terms of looking back on them, they're fine.
I played Heart Gold.
That's great.
I played Black and White and realized what might be the greatest downgrade in video game history.
I mean, if you played it after Heart Gold, then maybe.
No, that's exactly the
No.
point. I played it right after Heart Gold, and I went, "This is the exact total."
Oh wait,
opposite of
sorry, Black and White came out after Heart Gold, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yes,
It came out
Gen
right
5.
after.
I always get that mixed up. Yeah.
It was a hot disservice to what I had just done. All of the fun, all of the nostalgia, all of the Pokewalker, just.
Yeah.
I
mean,
played-
but I guess I was used to it because Game Freak always do that.
Yeah, I
They
played.
introduce stuff and then drop it in the next game.
Okay, well, I would like to announce my resignation from Source Gaming.
Badass,
because-
finally.
No.
And then I played XY, and I think that's the last new one I've played. Actually, I don't think I picked up. I definitely didn't pick up Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
You should pick up.
Yeah. I'd like to say that, like, when I say X and Y is the worst, I'm not counting Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and
Yeah.
third versions of games that don't
Well,
need to exist. Like, Black and White 2 bored me because I didn't feel like there was anything new, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon looked worse. So I just didn't bother to pick it up. I
Listen,
was just
gamers, my favorite Pokemon game is Pokken DX. So I mean,
Pokken DX is fun.
it's so good. More people
I
should
wish
buy
Let's
it.
Go was a better game than it actually is. Like, I haven't finished Let's Go. I got bored of it. I beat the third gym, and then I just couldn't bring myself to keep playing it when I had like Okami to play other better games than Pokemon Let's Go. Which
Was
is a shame
there-
'cause it started off so strong.
Was there only 2 generations of Pokemon on 3DS?
Yes.
Yes, 2
Then-
generations of
then
Pokemon on
67.
3DS, 2 on DS.
For some
2 on
reason,
Game
I'm
Boy, and 1 on
having
Game Boy
some
Advance.
weird. I'm having some weird like dementia where I'm like, was there something between X, Y, and Sun and Moon?
No, every
Oras.
every
Oras.
handheld has had 2 generations.
I know there's
I mean, there was-
Oras, but
There was Oras, but like in terms of generations, yeah, every single handheld
Every
has had
single-
2
yeah.
generation except for the Game Boy Advance, where it only had generation 3.
Oh,
Which is
yeah,
weird
you're right.
Considering how long the 3DS, I think it's because Crystal came out, like Gold and Silver came out right at the end of the Game Boy life cycle.
And Crystal came out 2001.
Yeah, and then like so Gen 3 came out sort of mid Game Boy Advance.
2003.
And then the DS was out pretty much like in 2004, so there was no reason to.
And they were also
Keep it.
releasing Fire Red and Leaf Green in 2004.
Yeah, like once they'd done that, there was no reason to do Gen 4 on the Game Boy as well, so they just went to DS straight away.
Pokemon Hot Takes, the podcast. Listen, I still don't know what a Nuzlocke is. Don't you fucking mansplain to me.
A Nuzlocke.
I'll finish my Nuzlocke one day.
If X and Y was so good, why didn't it get a third version?
Because they
Oh.
perfected it the first time around.
Honestly,
Imagine
Go ahead.
making a generation so bad they had to remake it, and they couldn't even come up with a cute little name for it, so they just called it 2.
that's originally what Pokemon Gold and Silver was going to be called, though, wasn't it?
I don't know what Gold and Silver. No, I don't think so.
But no,
I don't
Gold and
know.
Silver is like a
Maybe
whole
at
new
one point.
generation.
No, but
Yeah.
weren't they going to
No,
call
but I
it
mean-
Pokemon 2?
I mean, it
Back
may
in the-
be, but it also was the second Pokemon game, so they hadn't really said
Yeah.
anything. at
Pokemon
that
2,
time.
Back in Black.
Yeah, and it's a direct sequel, I guess. Yeah.
Pokemon 2.1 and 2.2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's go.
there you go.
Please stop.
But yeah, 3DS is rest in peace. Press
Yeah, I
F.
wanna go
Yeah,
back to
press
X and
F.
Y.
Yeah.
I have so many memories of the 3DS. It has the best version of Snake Eater. No one can tell me otherwise. It's got every Ace Attorney game on it remade, including the two best ones that never came here.
It doesn't have Investigations 1 and 2 haven't been remade.
Shut the fuck up! I'm talking about Great Ace Attorney. Damn.
No, I mean, that's not a remake on 3DS. That's an original game.
No. I said all of the games are on there because they were remade, and then also like there's two that never came over, even though they're the best ones.
Oh, okay. No, I know you guys. Did you stream? Are you going to stream it, or did you just stream it? Great Ace Attorney.
Okay, so Matt and I have never touched Great Ace Attorney, as you can imagine, because it was never released here.
I thought you streamed it at one point.
So here's the deal. There is currently in development a fan translation.
Mm-hmm.
Up to case 4 is finished.
Yeah.
So we streamed the about in July we streamed a version that just had the first case done.
Okay.
And now it's more up to date. So we did part 2 last night. But here's the thing, the first case is like 9 hours long. which is incredibly long for an Ace Attorney game. The first case is always
the first
like,
case as well, yeah.
Yeah, the first case is always like an hour and a half long or something. But no, this one is in parts. This one is in like 3-hour don't tell Capcom about it. They can't shut it down. It's a fan translation. There's nothing they can do about that. If they were like releasing the game, like pirating it, then yeah, but
let's ban the language.
Can't do that. Capcom owns that language.
Yeah, but yeah, it really sucks. We never got Great Ace Attorney here because we're currently playing it. I mean, again, we're only in the first case right now, but out of like the 6 hours we've been playing of it, it's absolutely fantastic. The writing, the animations, it's really good. There's like really good comedic timing, which is weird for an Ace Attorney game. Like you know how there's like occasionally in the old Ace Attorney games someone would start to say something and they'd be cut off by another character. And
Yeah.
it was such a crazy moment for that to happen. They only pulled it off like once in a blue moon. It happens frequently in this game. Like the conversations in Great Ace Attorney flow really well.
Nice. Well, hopefully, when the final ones come out, I'm gonna try and play through it because I've played every other game, including Investigations too.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the ones that are being made by the original creator, because 5 and 6 are not.
yeah.
And so it's kind of weird. It's Professor Layton Cross Ace Attorney is like the splitting off point for that series, because it's like from that point onwards there's 2 teams making these games, and there's like the A timeline, which is what we have in America, which is 5 and 6, and then there's the B timeline, which is the great games, which we're not getting, which is such a shame.
Just not
A timeline where they meet the professor, and the B timeline where they don't.
Yeah, where they go back in time and we hang out with Sherlock Holmes. I've heard reasons why it's not coming over here. I think there was like Capcom's official reason is like it's just like Westerners wouldn't get it, which is
nice excuse.
Yeah, what what I've heard, like what the insider reason is because that game is very heavily centered around the political relations between Japan and Britain during that time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so we really wouldn't get it then.
So no, because it's
no, it's in like it's a lot of political tension stuff.
Yeah, there's apparently there is a part where after someone is framed for murder, they call the main protagonist a yellow devil.
Oh.
And the first case, you can read it up. You can watch the stream from last night. The first case has like this very posh English woman, and she's saying like, "Oh, Japanese is such a barbaric language. Like I'm speaking beautiful Queen's English and stuff like that." Like,
oh god,
there's like some high tension going on. There's like some borderline racy stuff. But I don't know, those series are like those games are rated M. I doubt like someone in the US would have been able to pick this up and be like, why they not like it?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think. I mean, and that's also doesn't. It doesn't feel like something that needs there be kept. There are ways you can go about presenting that kind of stuff without making it overtly racist. Like, I don't think it's a big enough reason to not have the games entirely.
Yeah, hang on. Someone said you said calling Black White 2 was lame. Imagine you calling game great before the title. Well, great is being used because
what does that sentence say?
It's well, no, they're. I think they're saying that great is like a worse prefix than 2 is a suffix. But the difference being that great means like ancestor, because that's the point. It's a Ace Attorney game that takes place in like the late 1800s.
Yeah,
because you're dealing with like
game.
Yeah, but also great Ace Attorney is like an unofficial title. It's not like because there's no actual Western title. They never announced any plans.
Yeah, they never announced it
localization.
coming over here.
Yeah,
So
I think
that's what it translates to.
Well, I mean, the Ace Attorney games aren't even called Ace Attorney in Japan.
No, they're Gyakuten Saiban,
which is like great turnabout. So
that's a cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and great Ace Attorney in Japan is Dai Gyakuten Saiban Ryunosuke no Boken.
Yeah.
Which I may have.
So people just call it Great Ace Attorney because it plays into the Ace Attorney investigations, Apollo Justice. Yeah.
Imagine calling your great grandparents your great grandparents because they're better than your normal grandparents.
Yeah, dude.
My great to grandparents.
But no, I thought Great Ace Attorney was canceled. Nope, it just was never localized. There's two of them. There's two of them.
Wait, what do you? Oh.
There's two of them that were released in Japan, and we never got them. The people at Scarlet Study are just about to finish the first one. They said the script for episode 5 or case 5 is done. They just have to finish up like the visuals and like the FMVs and all that. And that they said right after they're gonna start doing 2. So that should be cool. I'm really excited for that. It's really nice.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
We'll have to see, because I feel like sales might have also been a big part of it, because before 5, it was the Ace Attorney games weren't selling too hotly. Like Investigations and Apollo Justice didn't do very well.
No. Apollo Justice did really well.
Did it?
Investigations didn't do well, and for some reason, Investigations not doing well tipped them off to no one wanting these games, which is such a weird jump. I mean, the Ace Attorney games were never like multi-million crazy sellers. They're not in like the top 10 best selling on the DS, but like they've always said, yeah, they sold well. They're gonna keep making them. Apollo Justice, I think, is the best selling one on the DS, but yeah, Investigations 1 didn't do well, which then led to them going, we're not gonna bring Investigations 2 over because piracy. And then every game forward just has either taken years to be localized or just becomes digital only, which I think sucks.
I think the digital only thing is definitely for a sales reason. I'm pretty sure.
I can't imagine that helps though, because I don't know.
No, it certainly doesn't.
I don't know anyone who buys like exclusively digital games on the 3DS. Like, the fact that they didn't even produce a physical of Ace Attorney Trilogy, which are the 3 games that everyone knows and likes, is so weird. I also think it's really weird of Capcom to do that, and yet they were like, they spent the extra money to get a custom-made cartridge for Resident Evil Revelations. Like, what kind of trade-off is that? So
they released a physical Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, although actually Nintendo were the publishers of the games. That's probably why.
And it was one run. You cannot find it anymore. And that game took 3 years to come out in the
But
West. It took 3
But
years.
there was a really but Ace Attorney had a really slow like build up. It just in general they like kind of stopped making them after Investigations for a little bit, and then brought them back with when they announced Professor Layton crossover.
Well, because the next one was the Layton crossover. Because Investigations 2 is like 2011, 2012.
The Professor Layton one's 2012, and then it took a year and a few months to be localized and released.
Investigations 2 came out in 2011, and then it was like the crossover was basically being advertised as like nearly being a 3DS launch title until I think it came out year 2 in it came out 2012, year 2 in Japan, and then it came out 2014 in It came like what the hell is this? It came out November 2012 in Japan, and then it came out in March in the EU and Australia in 2014. And then it took them until August to release it in North America. Like, what the
Why is Europe getting stuff before us?
I don't know. That's weird. I mean, and also between those times, Ace Attorney 5 released worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Ace Attorney 5 was available everywhere after this was launched in Japan, but before it got launched anywhere else. Now that you mention it, I do remember this game taking a lot longer to come out now.
And then Ace Attorney Trilogy came out in Japan, which already had the English translation of it on the cartridge, but then they still took a year to bring it over to the West. And now they're doing the same thing with the trilogy on Switch, where the game is already translated, it's fully in English, they're releasing it in Japan at the end of the month, but we still don't know when it's coming out in the West, and who knows if it'll have even a physical release. It's so stupid.
No.
I do not understand their weird, like, semi-hatred for Western fans of Ace Attorney.
It is weird.
I want to see him in Smash, though.
Shall we move on to direct rumors? Because I am aware of time.
Yeah, let's... Basically, rest in peace, 3DS. You will be dearly missed. Go buy Xenoblade Chronicles.
I'm buying Persona Q2, and that's the last thing I'm getting for you.
Did you, I don't want to drag this out any longer, but did I ever tell you about the guy who really liked Persona Q?
Are you talking about, in your server?
No. In real life.
No, I have not heard about this.
Okay, so I went to Nintendo New York one time with the old ball and chain, and it was around my birthday, and I went to the 3DS game section, and they had the brand new, just released Senran Kagura 2 Double D edition or whatever they called it. So I was like, hey, my birthday's coming up. Wanna buy me? So she took the game and she went up the stairs, because there used to be just the one register upstairs to buy the game at. And then some guy comes up, and New York Comic Con was going on, and I don't know if this guy was in cosplay or not.
Oh no!
But like, he looked like Roger from the show Doug. Because he had, like, a leather jacket and, like, a V-neck and, like, slicked back hair, and he had, like, a really thick Brooklyn accent.
Oh, no.
And he, like, saw me picking out Senran Kagura, and he's like, yo, that game any good? I was like,
I'm a dirty boy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit, you're alive. Did you just wake up?
Oh, my God.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Just...
Way to come on in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit.
Anyway,
you're sending Kagura story.
So he's like, yo, is that game any good? And I'm like, I don't know, I didn't buy it yet. You know, I want to try it out. And he's like, yeah, you know what game's really good, man? And I'm like, what? And I'm like looking at the 3DS library, and I'm like, what the fuck could he possibly point out? Like, was he gonna point at, like, New Super Mario Bros. And be like, this is a good game, like, Brooklyn, pizza, forget about it. No, he points to Persona Q, which is, like, the most, like, chibi anime bullshit.
Hey,
And I was like, yeah, I heard that's pretty good. And I just the mental image of this like Brooklynite just, with the accent
being
and
a
everything,
weeb.
just being the biggest weeb on the planet was so funny.
Oh, actually, I got a story.
Go on then.
Yeah, go for it.
I was coming home last night, from Bay Plaza because I was helping a friend out with her birthday shopping,
Mhm.
and on my way home, as I'm walking down the block to my house, I find a copy of Street Fighter Cross Tekken on the floor, fully boxed, manual, and the disc is in. So, and I took it home.
Okay.
And but now my PS3, I tried using my PS3. It's still broken, I think, but I can't find my PS3 controller anymore. And now I can't even see if it works.
So,
Rest in peace.
we're gonna wrap this up soon, but before we do, we're gonna talk about some possible Nintendo Direct spoilers. So I'm gonna put a big ol' warning on the screen. This is the really cool part where I turn off the Source Gaming logo and I slap in the spoiler talk logo that I made.
Spoiler gaming.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Here, let me turn on the camera so you guys see what it looks like.
Oh, my.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
Ooh,
put the
oh,
stream
sad.
back on.
No, I did it in Discord. You can just look in the Discord chat. Yeah.
So I was catching up on the direct rumors, I suppose, that
Yeah.
you linked me.
Someone
And, I
on
mean-
Reset Era made a nice little compilation of every direct rumor we've had since June, actually. But
Yeah.
but a lot of these are I guess they're just trying to keep this up to date with yeah, it just seems like it's a big Switch
Yeah, it's just-
rumor archive.
yeah, it's a big rumor archive. I've been on this thread before. Anything that gets wrong, and then if it's correct or incorrect, then they will put a little logo by it.
I say
And,
we only look at the February ones because
Otherwise it's going to be too much.
and we're only
Um,
going to look at two of the February ones because the third one starts with the phrase leaky pandy, which means it's immediately bullshit, and there is not a single solitary way that it could be true in any way, shape, or form.
What if it ends up being true?
No, it's not. It's leaky
No.
pandy. It's not a single thing they have ever said has become true.
Yeah, and besides, it's just such a vague claim as well that
It's also a claim that's been around for a few years.
they're not the only
basically-
one to say it. Though they've put a time limit.
Yeah.
They said it has to come in March, so don't expect it till like E3.
Okay, well, I'll say what it is. Basically, Leaky Pandy said that a new exclusive Monster Hunter would be coming to Switch, which is not unfounded because the guy who initially leaked Monster Hunter World and got like every single thing correct about Monster Hunter World said that a Monster Hunter 5 would be in development for Switch. So this isn't that weird.
This is expected, and it's just
Yeah.
whether it comes in March, which it probably won't. So.
Yeah. That'd be quite the fast turnaround for a new Monster Hunter. Especially
So I guess
because it's a Capcom game. It's got to have like 12 months between the Japan release and the US release. But the real big news is that Reset Era user King Zell dropped Monster Hunter 5 as Monster Hunter World. No, it isn't.
It's not.
World's an entirely
World isn't
separate
5,
game.
Yeah.
World's a spin-off.
But
yeah.
King Zell said 13 is your lucky number, and I'm out. And apparently King Zell has a pretty good track record. I've never really kept up with King Zell.
King Zell's quite a big one. I mean, his recent one is that he basically... I mean, whether you want to take this as a leak or not, he said that Metroid Prime 4 wouldn't be releasing till at the earliest 2020.
Yeah.
And then like a few weeks later they announced the delay for Prime 4. And I mean that's that they've got that on this list. That's his like most recent confirmed one. But like King Zell has been accurate in the past when it comes to stuff. Like he teased the Animal Crossing Switch, and he accidentally leaked that Yoshi's Crafted World would be the title of that game. and other stuff like that. Like, in fact, all looking at just the 2019 ones, all of King Zell's ones are the most relevant, are the better ones to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, there's the direct on February 13th, which is gonna. I mean, it's about time. I think there's been a different person every week saying it's going to be this Thursday. It's going to be this Thursday. Definitely going to be this Thursday. Oh, that was it. Kingzell also claimed an indie showcase was going to happen.
Yeah.
He said next week there'll be an indies thing, and then there was. So.
Wait,
like,
what? Wait, hang on. I'm just replying to someone in chat. World is made by Main Team. Yeah, no, World is.
Yeah, it is made. It's made by World Main Team, but it's not.
It's not
five.
They do not consider it to be a 5. They consider it to be a whole new sub series.
Yeah. Like a more open world directed at Westerners take on Monster Hunter.
But yeah, King Zell definitely has quite the interesting track record. But with the real big bombshell of what he dropped yesterday was not the direct on the 13th, because as I was kind of saying earlier, it's next week is like the worst leak you could possibly do, because at some point you're going to be correct. But instead, he dropped a list of games that was a spoiler talk about. It is about direct stuff. So if
Nintendo Direct spoilers.
If you don't want to be spoiled on next week's Nintendo Direct, possibly next week, because we don't know for sure. Cover your ears. But so he said, or they, I'll say they, it's better. They said that unannounced 2019 games include a port of Pikmin 3.
Okay.
Which Emily Rogers said there would be a 2013 Wii U port coming this year, possibly. And I mean, it was between Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101, and 3D World. So,
what about Wii Fit U?
Oh God. Direct is not confirmed for next week. Just this is what.
This is a rumor.
Yeah,
it's going to be next week. Yeah.
I prefer 3D World, honestly.
No, I wouldn't.
No, I don't think 3D World did need remaking.
No, not remake, but support.
I mean, port, yeah.
Mario Maker 2.
That's been long coming.
Something Box Boy, whether that be a port of the 3DS games or a new one. I would think it would be a port of the 3DS games.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a port of the trilogy that they released. They released the physical version of it.
There were 3 games.
Yeah, well, like the third one was Goodbye Box Boy, and they said they were done. So it's probably almost certainly a port of that. Now, the real question with that, though, is will the Box Boy amiibo come with it?
Oh yeah,
because it's only I've got it, and it's a very cheap amiibo because it's literally just a square, but it looks really nice.
And then the last 3 include Pokemon, which some people might be a little iffy on because they don't usually show.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't say it's going to be in the direct.
Hello, wait.
There's only one of them he says might be in the direct, and even then he says probably, and that's Metroid Prime Trilogy.
Hold on, I completely missed what was said because my internet just cut out. I'm sorry.
All right, I'll go through them more quickly. Pikmin 3 port, Mario Maker 2, Box Boy something, Pokemon Gen 8, and then
a 2D Zelda.
2D Zelda, yeah, a new 2D Zelda.
Which, all right, listen, I'm sick of hearing about a new 2D Zelda, but at least it's not Link's Reawakening, because that is not happening.
No, well, King Zell was the one who originally hinted at the new 2D Zelda. I mean, he said that back at the beginning of January there'd be a new 2D Zelda. Yeah. And then on the same day he said something Breath of the Wild related would be coming in 2020. So whether or not those are connected or not, like, I mean, my thought process for it has been, if you remember that tech demo sort of thing they had, where they took the original NES sprites and put them in the Breath of the Wild engine, but made it top down to test it out. I feel like they're going to do something with that.
Yeah,
a 2D Zelda that uses a lot of the same stuff as Breath of the Wild does.
They just re-released Breath of the Wild, but it's from a top-down camera angle.
I would love that, honestly.
Just everyone is tilted like they are. But But I mean, those could very well be connected. The only one of these he says could be in the direct is Prime Trilogy, but it's also thought that Prime Trilogy might be delayed because Prime 4 was delayed. So
Why would you delay that though?
well, because the whole so Prime Trilogy is something that's been floating around for ages. I first heard about it back before Mario Odyssey came out, and the initial idea, supposedly, if it's true, is that it's a way to get people hyped about Metroid Prime 4, essentially. Like, there's a whole generation of people who won't have played Metroid Prime game other than maybe Federation Force, but probably not Federation Force. And they want to make sure Prime 4 does really well. So a port of the Prime Trilogy collection will get people into the series and then get them excited for Prime 4. So they want to release them like what they feel is an appropriate distance apart to keep the hype going.
That's fair.
And so if Prime 4 has been delayed, they don't want to risk releasing, say, Prime Trilogy now and not having Prime 4 come out for another 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
So they're going to hold off on Prime Trilogy until maybe early next year, latest, like early next year or end of this year or something, depending on how Prime 4 development goes.
Okay.
So, but it's also possible that maybe they won't. That's a current rumor that was floating around. Prime 4 got delayed, that Prime Trilogy might be delayed as well to match that.
Good port other M instead.
No, it's just the complete opposite of what you need to do to get people to Metroid again.
There's been some other things said about what might be happening at this possible direct next week. That that big list doesn't really seem to cover. Because there's been other weird random like possible Switch games that are being leaked, but it's been kind of weird. Like there was the Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation remastered that ended up being announced for everything but Switch, but there's a lot of information floating around of there possibly being a Switch version. But if they're really trying to keep up that trend of every Switch announcement being at a direct, that's fucking annoying. That's really annoying.
Yeah, like what was it? Cause was it the delay with freaking what was it? What direct was it that got delayed because of the earthquake?
Oh, September.
Yeah, the September one. Like, was it some companies were like releasing their trailers that would have been
that's the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like the Final
Crystal
Fantasy
Chronicles and Mega Man 11 demo.
Yeah,
and
all that. Yeah,
Civ 6 kind of.
Yeah, Civ 6 kind of. We'll probably get first footage of Joker in Smash.
Yeah.
That's probably something we'll get.
I can't wait for everyone to scream at me when I say there's probably not going to be a lot of Smash at this new direct, and then
it's going to be just Joker. I don't think they.
Well,
maybe Joker will get a April release date or an April time frame for release, and then we won't get anything else for a bit.
That's what I'm expecting. April, release it in April, and then E3 announce another character.
There is, there are some other things that came out toward the end of 2018, like apparently a port of Super Lucky's Tale coming to Switch, and The Witcher 3 listed for Switch.
Oh God!
And we'll have to see. The Super Lucky's Tale one is obviously interesting with the rumors of Xbox Live coming to Switch as well.
Yeah, but I mean that one's also not too weird because another Microsoft Studios published game. Max in the Curse of Brotherhood came to Switch as well.
Did it?
Yeah.
Was that like a Microsoft owned game?
Yep, it was published by Microsoft Studios on Xbox, and it was an exclusive for a while.
Oh, okay.
And it's not on PS4. It is
on PS4.
Oh,
it says.
Oh, yeah. It must have just been ported later.
Yeah, it came to PS4 before it came to Switch.
Oh. Huh.
Like a whole month and a half before it came to Switch.
Oh damn.
So, yeah, it was published by Microsoft. For basically everything but the PS4 version.
They mentioned
and wide productions for everyone else.
I think King Zell said in a later statement. I'm trying to find it. He said something about There's definitely going to be a bigger third-party presence, but it's also going to be kind of still in line with how it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's really been substantially said, and I don't even know if King Zell said it himself, was to look forward to some games that you might be surprised to see running on Switch.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see The Witcher 3 running on Switch.
Yeah,
Listen,
that might
my
be
friend, my friend, he turns on The Witcher 3 and he uses it to make his computer into a space heater.
Yeah, we'll see, I suppose. As there is one on here that I want to sort of bring up, because this is just something that I've heard personally. So apparently Nintendo Suit claimed that Dragon Quest XI-S will have a worldwide launch in 2019. And then Das Vergeben reconfirms this, and also claims that ports of past Dragon Quest games will be announced and then released this year as well.
Ooh,
That makes sense.
I know a
Dragon
Bryhard
Quest
Gaming
8 again.
that'll be excited.
But I've heard personally that there currently aren't any confirmed plans for Dragon Quest XI-S to be coming outside of Japan.
Oh.
Like, if there is, it's definitely like it'll be like all Dragon Quest games. Nintendo are going to be involved in it. But I've heard that as it stands, it is obviously going to be in Japan in 2019. But they haven't really discussed, or Nintendo hasn't made the decision yet whether or not they want to release it worldwide. They might do in the end. They might do in the end, but I've heard this like fairly recently, and like this is I've heard this after Nintendo Soup claimed it was going to be a worldwide launch. That's how recently I've heard this. So I'm not 100% sure if he's right, but I might also my information might be off as well. I'm not going to say that mine's definitely more, but I've heard that might be the case.
There's always been weird things like that with Dragon Quest. There was like a bunch of remakes of like 1 to 3 on the 3DS that we never got here.
Yeah.
Same thing with Final Fantasy 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I mean, it could be that there are Dragon Quest ports coming out for Switch this year, but they'll be Japan only. But another thing that kind of gets in my way for that is seeing ports of all the old Final Fantasy games. Like this year, I can't imagine Square Enix is going to want to release all their old Final Fantasy games and then all their old Dragon Quest games just like back to back on the Switch.
Yeah.
There's going to be like some excessive, the word I'm looking for here. Oversaturation.
Another thing. Yeah. So someone basically did a quick secondary summary of what Zell said, which is Direct next week, 13th. Metroid Prime Trilogy, Mario Maker 2, Pikmin 3 port, and Box Boy are happening. Former will possibly be in the Direct. Double down on 2D Zelda. Apparently, Pikmin 4 restarted development at some point.
Nah, that's not surprising.
Which is not surprising. I imagine that point was when they switched from Wii U to Switch.
The Switch, yeah.
Because you got to readapt for the control scheme. And then they said third-party support will improve this year, especially Japanese stuff. Some unpredictable surprises as well. And then someone else apparently mentioned that something Kingdom Hearts is being tested and considered, but not 3.
Kingdom Hearts cheat. Kingdom Hearts cheat.
I hope not.
I feel no, actually, because I don't want to play it on mobile and computer.
I just don't want to.
I'd much rather play it on Switch.
I don't want to play it at all.
I mean, you might want to play it, considering it seems like it might be vital to whatever follows from the Xehanort trilogy.
I don't care about the Xehanort trilogy.
Oh, also, speaking of Final Fantasy shit coming over, or at least just Square Enix shit coming over, Square Enix has trademarked 3 names in Europe that might hint towards a localization of the Mana collection that they released very early on in the Switch's lifespan.
The hell is that?
No, well, that would be good, finally.
Secret of Mana?
Yeah, Secret of Mana. Like, people wanted it over here and it wasn't, but I guess...
Yeah,
well,
because
hopefully
one
it
of the
will be.
games was never localized.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That means
apparently
that'd be
recently Square Enix trademarked the names Final Fantasy Adventure, Mystic Quest, and Secret of Mana in Europe.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, when is the top 2018 Square Enix game gonna hit Switch? I'm talking The Quiet Man.
Well, YouTube is already on the Switch, so I mean, you can just watch AShadowLink's playthrough of it, and
Yeah.
it's basically the same thing.
You probably get more enjoyment out of watching him play it, though.
Hell yeah, of course,
Secret
it's
of Mana
AShadowLink.
There's a Secret of Mana remake, isn't there?
Yep,
Yeah, but apparently not very good.
it was.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was
Got
for PS4, Vita
PS4.
only.
And Vita.
Oh, that's always a good sign.
I mean, going back to Kingdom Hearts stuff, though, I wouldn't be surprised if the next game was a Switch exclusive, because this is Kingdom Hearts, and this is
Yeah.
just what they do.
Oh yeah.
So,
it's got a 6 out of 10 on
Right.
Steam.
but yeah, no, those are all the sort of big
Yeah.
recent rumors around Nintendo Direct stuff. So hopefully we don't have very long to find out, I guess, if it really is on Thursday.
Do what I do. Just turn on notifications for every time Nintendo tweets. They only do it like 3 times a day, so it's not annoying. And you know, who knows? Maybe you'll wake up one day and there's like, oh, a Nintendo Direct announcement. There you
Wake
go.
up one day and they're just like, Shin Megami Tensei 5 has been cancelled indefinitely. Sorry.
It restarted development. It's now Tokyo Mirage Sessions 2. Back in track.
Perfect.
Also, we probably might know when the Persona 5R news is going to come out.
That's March. They're already going to talk about that in March.
No, I'm talking
so-
about the specific date.
It's not hitting the Switch at all.
I'm not talking about the Switch. I'm just talking about news in general. March
they told us
23rd.
March.
March 23rd. I'm saying a specific date. Yeah.
Well, Nintendo aren't going to be the ones saying that. So
Yeah, here at Source Gaming, we only do Nintendo.
we've got to have Persona 4 Golden coming to Switch along with every other Vita game to truly make the Vita obsolete.
Hell
That would
yeah.
actually make me happy.
Yeah, I'd play Golden if it came to Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah,
I think that covers everything.
yeah, I think so as well. I think this has gone on long enough.
I'd like to thank NantenJex
Cool. Thank you.
and yeah, I hope the rest of you have a
Excuse me?
Got to remember to shout out to the Duke of Dorks, the super patron.
Oh, yeah, that
Excuse
guy.
me?
Thank you, Duke of Dorks.
What?
And, oh wait, of course.
I don't
Thank you,
deserve any-
ShadowLink, for coming on.
Oh, thanks.
I hate this.
I'm glad
I
you
hate
could
this
be here
shit.
for all this. You really added to the discussion as a whole.
Oh yeah, there was a leak of the release dates
For what?
for Mario for Luigi's Mansion
Oh.
3 and Animal Crossing and Daemon X Machina supposedly.
Yeah.
Wasn't-
I mean, they might not be accurate because
Yeah,
it's
'cause
just a random
Animal Crossing
store
was like
thing.
April
Animal
25th.
Crossing's no, it wasn't at all.
Something
Animal
like that.
Crossing was September 13th.
What the hell? I'm
Yeah.
way off.
Animal
on a
Crossing was
Monday, though.
Animal Crossing was September 13th. Luigi's Mansion was July something, and Daemon X Machina was May.
Oof.
So it was on
Hey,
Monday.
Weeb Slayer 2049 says Beatles Rock Band port for Switch. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Fuck yeah! Every time.
All right.
But yeah, that.
All right, guys.
Who knows if they're real? Duke of Dorks. Watch Know Your Moves by Relax and the.
Oh yeah, I wrote that episode.
Yeah, 2 of the people here. Good day.
Today.